Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, something totally different here on Rauta. Forget all metal, forget all rocking and ambient parts. This time we dive deep into Cold Spring label territory, which is mostly known for rather esoteric, ambient, noisy, all kind of marginal music. This one is Kollaps with the album called Until I Die. Now, I didn't do it throughout searching because it kind of goes beyond the point, so let's just use this Cold Spring site for this given album as backdrop and hear it how it sounds, hear it how it looks. Not sounds really, because I'm not gonna play the music for you. You can actually do it here with this link, which is provided in the description box. Now, here on the site is actually more accurate description what this music is supposed to be, as well as the track list, the music, and all necessary information. Like, if you really want to go down to it, there it is. But this thing is peculiar release because, first of all, it doesn't really cater to the needs of people who are into melodics, rhythms, listenable and singable patterns and all that stuff. This is kind of industrial, which is definitely flirting with kind of a noisier parts of that. I mean, you'll hear buzzing and all kind of affected vocals, spoken parts and all that stuff with a lot of affected vocals. There isn't even a neoclassic track, kind of a neo-folk track, if you will, that is kind of trying to incorporate more approachable parts to this hissing and buzzing and all that stuff. Now, mind you, this is very, very marginal music for a marginal audience. Those who are expecting some kind of a noisier, but not exactly hardcore noise or power electronics, are probably just like, hey, this is actually pretty good. This is kind of a dirty and somewhat marginal. You can always just comb your hair to fit the music into your theme and say, yeah, I'm not one of those mainstream normies listening to mainstream bands and music. This is definitely right there. But if you really think about it, this is still way more approachable than your typical power electronics or noise, because this is in fact like halfway there. Partially because of that, and partially for other reasons, I don't think this album really flies that far. Now, one might say I'm not the kind of a core audience for this kind of album, and I will use that as my excuse to give this album a little bit of a whip. And by that I mean I don't find this album particularly enjoyable. The thing here is, it's like a little bit lukewarm in the terms of like, okay, now let's cause some buzz and let's make these ear cups, fly and explode because of it's so violent, the music. It's like halfway violence, just like a little bit of a bitch slapping. You feel slapped and you feel like you're being hit, but you don't really, get to bleed or have broken bones and all that stuff. Now, this is much like if you would strip parts of Puissance, the legendary band from Sweden, into more like boring parts, less interesting parts, to put it this way. You have these affected vocals to give you kind of a grim output, like, okay, this is dangerous. Now they're kind of talk about sex and violence and death and blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest about it. This is not as grim as it could be. This is not as industrial as it could really be. There are no interesting patterns or rhythmic ideas. There are no melodies. There are no stuff that keeps me going with ambient. I mean, I do love dark ambient. This one is just way more kind of a noisier. Too much vocals which don't really mean to me, anything. And I don't know. It's almost like trying to cherry pick a little bit of this marginal music, which then again suits what Cold Spring are doing. But as a result, it's a little bit of a lukewarm. So for me, it's more like a question. If this is not a black coffee, if this is not a coffee with milk, if this is not a hot cocoa nor tea, what the fuck is this supposed to be? And somebody is going to say, it's a little bit this and that. you try to enjoy it. So maybe I'm not just the kind of audience people are expecting me to be when reviewing this kind of album. Um, those who want to explore marginal music might find Kollaps interesting to some degree, but if you're looking for something really extreme in the terms of like non-metal, non-rock, but go into the world of power electronics or noise or ambient or drone stuff or I don't know, field recordings, this is probably not that. So not for your musical taste, not for your non-musical taste, but somewhere in the middle. Maybe you will like it, chances are you won't. Links are provided in the description box, so feel free to try the music yourself, because that's always what you should be doing instead of listening to these kind of bald heads from Finland explaining why they don't or why they do like certain kind of music. So disagree or agree with me, that doesn't really matter, but I'm always looking forward to your opinion, and who knows, if you like it, go buy it. Thanks for watching, take care, bye bye.